Hey, good morning. Let's go over today's trade plan. So in the overnight session, the sell side has been more active, but the S&P is set to open near support. We have pre-market support at 80.75 to 81.75, and continuing to hold above that area could still bring in buyers into this market. Below that, we have initial support at 76.75 to 78.75, and that's going to be quite important on the day time frame as well. And if the market fails to hold 76.75 to 78.75, then it would signal a shift in the smaller time frame control. And from there, if we are heading down on broad market weakness and some decent and sustained downside momentum, we could be looking at a short-term breakdown type move into 70 to 72 and potentially even 65 quarter to 67 quarter. On the upside, the main resistance zone continues to be 88.75 to 90.75. And if you look back at the last four sessions, you can see that the market has been balancing between the initial support zone and the initial resistance zone. And given the economic calendar today, there is potential for a break either below initial support or a break above initial resistance. Now we know that in order to get a sustained breakout or breakdown, we need to see that broad market strength or weakness and then sustained momentum in direction of the break. Looking at the econ calendar, we have the ISM number out at 9 a.m. Central Time, followed by the oil number at 9:30. But I think the more significant catalyst today could be the FOMC announcement at 1 p.m. Central Time. So that's something to be mindful of. Looking at the other markets, the Russell has been showing relative weakness over the last few sessions, but now it is set to open near a important inflection point of 1390.5 to 1392.5. Failure to hold that area and a breakdown below 1390.5 to 92.5 in the Russell could trigger a sell side move in the S&P as well. So we can see that S&P is set to open near some short-term support, and the Russell, although being relatively weak recently, is set to open near some more significant support. So this is an important short-term inflection point for buyers. And if they're going to maintain control, then this is where they need to step in. In the S&P, they need to hold initial support and ideally even pre-market support. And in the Russell, you want to see it holding 1390.5 to 92.5. And the Nasdaq just continues to show strength, and we know that it's been the strongest market out of the three. So off the open, we'll be watching to see whether the buyers can hold ES above initial support and pre-market support. Our short-term bias today is going to be neutral, and that means we have to be quite nimble and flexible with our intraday bias and see how the day shapes up and develops and how the market responds to initial support and pre-market support. If the buyers can hold it above those areas, then we can still give a bit more edge to the buy side. But if we're seeing very clear-cut signs of weakness and we're seeing a proper breakdown in the Russell on some decent momentum, then we have to be cautious on taking long setups and possibly even look for short setups at that point in time. So those are the main ideas heading into the open today. Let's see how the market responds to initial support and pre-market support in the S&P and the 1390.5 to 92.5 area in the Russell. That'll help establish our very short-term bias off the open, and we'll take it from there.